Hello. Welcome back to the Creative Differences Podcast. I'm Dallas, and I think Patricia Heaton should calm down. We will get to why.
I'm Colin. I don't know who that is.
I know.
But I'm just going to say ACAB right off the top and keep it pushing.
Interesting for this one.
And I'm Demi. So as you can guess, Gabby's not here. Welcome to another episode of the Creative Differences Podcast, your one-stop shop for movie reviews, Fancast Fridays, Throwback Thursdays, and a number of other pop culture-related items. Today, we are reviewing Lightyear and Spiderhead.
That is true. Two movies that couldn't be more different. But they're both dark. They both have a Marvel Chris. And yeah, they're both, a lot darker than I expected. Gabby is off somewhere trying to figure out if her thirst for Chris Evans only applies in live action. And we support her on that journey.
Love that.
She'll come back when she figures it out.
We know the answer to that.
Do we?
I think we do.
Okay.
Probably. Doesn't matter. Before we get into the episode, please like, share, and subscribe because we can't justify starting a Patreon until we actually have an audience.
Also, make sure you guys follow us on social media.
Yes. Please do. Because I've been posting. We've been posting. We as an entity have been posting on Twitter. And y'all ain't been doing nothing with that. So, a little disappointed in you guys, but it's fine. Lightyear. Colin, you said ACAB. Is that because Lightyear is a space cop?
Yeah. Okay.
Is he a space cop?
Okay.
He's not a space cop yet.
Okay, here's the thing. I don't want to go into spoilers, but there was a specific moment near the end of the movie where I was like, oh, right, they're cops.
Interesting.
But yeah, ACAB.
Well, before we get into why cops are bad on Earth and off, Lightyear is directed by Angus MacLane. It sounds like a cowboy from the 1800s. It's not. It's a man from the present day. And he directed Finding Dory, apparently.
Oh, really?
Because Pixar likes to give their people work, and I love that. Yeah, he co-directed it with someone else. Didn't look up who. It was written by Jason Headley and Angus MacLane. Angus MacLane. All right, sorry. I just feel like you have to say the name like that,
100%.
right?
It sounds like a Doug Dimmadome.
You should only make Westerns if your name is Angus MacLane. Anyway, the movie stars Chris Evans, Keke Palmer, Peter Sohn, Uzo Aduba, and Taika Waititi, among others. The IMDb summary states, while spending years attempting to return home, Maroon Space Ranger Buzz Lightyear encounters an army of ruthless robots commanded by Zurg who are attempting to steal his fuel source. All right. Whoa, it's really detailed. All right, Lightyear. Colin.
Me.
Did you like it?
I did. I thought it was pretty solid. Not like, oh man, I'm going to be thinking about this forever, but it was pretty solid. I liked it. It got, because what I had seen right a few days before it came out was someone compared some of the emotional beats in it to like Up, and I was like, okay, Up is, it's Up. I don't know. And then we got to a certain point in the movie and I was like, oh no, okay, I see why I
get the comparison.
Yeah, and it's like that was really interesting. I feel like part of me wants to be cynical and say this movie never should have existed and it's just a soulless cash grab, but even if it is, it's a solid movie.
Interesting. Demi, did you like it?
I did, especially as somebody who grew up with a brother who was obsessed with Buzz Lightyear when we were kids. Oh, yeah. I loved Woody. He loved Buzz Lightyear.
Just checking in. Has the brother seen the movie?
He is not.
Okay.
No.
You should fix that.
Well, he's a grown man in law school, so he doesn't have a lot of time right now. It was fun for me just knowing, because my brother used to get, the new Buzz Lightyear toy almost every single time there was a new one. Nice. So it was like, all the buttons. There's the red button, the green button, the blue button. There's the laser. There's his jetpack comes out and all that stuff. So to see how that stuff works in if Buzz Lightyear was an actual person is kind of cool. And there are some iconic lines more than just to infinity and beyond that Buzz Lightyear says that got me super excited. And I thought that it was a really solid story. Very fun sci-fi adventure that just, it works. I liked it.
It works. It really works.
It really works.
All right, yes, I like this movie so much. Might dare to say I love this movie. Yeah. This movie was so much fun. And I watched the trailer.
You did, I think you posted on Twitter that it might be a top 10 Pixar movie for you?
Easily a top 10 Pixar movie.
It is in my top 10, actually. I changed my ranking yesterday which, by the way, for those who don't know, all 4 Toy Story movies are in my top 5. So
yeah, that's why I was curious to see how you felt about it because you are the Toy Story gal.
Oh, yeah, I really liked it. I feel like it's a good, a little additional thing to watch with Toy Story. Yeah. It's not Toy Story, but it's cool.
Speaking of it not being Toy Story, let's talk about what it is because
we were confused.
There was some confusion when the trailer came out and the movie was announced and we thought, is this a movie in that universe? Is it just if Lightyear was real? Is Lightyear real? Is he an astronaut?
We have a long
Do they have
discussion
aliens?
about it on this podcast
Yes.
when that trailer came out.
And fortunately, everything is cleared up because apparently this is a movie that came out in 1995 in Andy's world. And then he watched it and boom, replaced all of his Woody stuff.
With
Woody,
Buzz Lightyear.
I'll rock with you no more. Get out of here, Angus McLean. And then he got space stuff.
Yeah, it was basically Andy's Star Wars is what I like to tell people. And they make that very clear from the jump.
Somebody at Pixar or something said that, right?
I think so. I think the director of the movie actually said
Okay. Angus McLean. And I thought it was funny, thinking extra textually about the fact that this movie in that world came out in 95. This movie looks amazing.
Okay, I was literally going to say.
In 1995, Andy looked like a nightmare. So it's like,
Well,
he didn't even look like okay.
that makes me wonder.
What?
Is that movie animated in his world or is it live action?
Well, see,
Oh, good point.
I would like to think that it's animated because then I want to see what did their animated movies from 2022 look like if they were at this level in 1995.
Amazing.
Oh, right.
It looked like live action. It looked like The Lion King.
Right. Or when he watched this movie in 95, it looked like Toy Story did in 95 and was just nightmarish because, oh boy, those human characters.
But anyway, we should actually talk about
Yes.
the movie.
It's so fun, but surprisingly dark. And Pixar is always trying to crush their audience.
True.
But this one goes to some dark places I didn't expect. Like the comparison to Up, given kind of the setup of the story, I was thinking, oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's not what I thought was gonna happen.
I didn't. There's a thing that happens multiple times in like the first 30 minutes, and the first time it happened, I was like, okay, that sucks.
Yeah.
And then it kept happening, and I was like, oh no, this is.
Oh yeah, once it happened the first time,
Stop.
I was like, this has to keep happening because we have to get to certain characters that I know.
I had forgotten
See,
about
I didn't
that.
know that.
But then I realized, in my head, I thought, and this is probably the cynic in me, I was like, 2 black women in it? They got to be related. And then, of course, but then I thought, I was like, oh no, this
I
is
mean,
gonna
they say
keep
that in
happening.
the trailers.
They
so.
do, and I remember that afterward.
I thought it was a really good story. It was a really fun sci-fi story. I liked the theme of like it's okay to make mistakes and that you have to give yourself grace as you are making these mistakes.
There's a lot of that.
I thought that was really good. And especially, we're in a time where we're trying to teach the next generation that like mistakes are okay. It is okay for you to make mistakes.
Right.
Don't end up like us where we all have anxiety because we are afraid to make those mistakes. I feel like it's a good message to give kids and just people in general that it
I
is.
concur. I still need that.
Oh, 100%.
I was in this movie like, thanks.
The movie was hitting me. I was like, all right, Hawthorne,
Thank you for letting me know.
talk to me.
Talk to me. Chris Evans does a great job as Buzz Lightyear,
Yo,
seeing
he
as he is not
really
Tim Allen.
Does. I want to talk about that. So first off, shout out White
Buzz
Hennessy.
without the racism. Like,
White Hennessy.
Yeah. For those who don't know, White Hennessy is Chris Evans' nickname. It's official. So Patricia Heaton is an actress who used to be famous. She was on Everybody Loves Raymond. And she came out and
oh, she was
she was
that
the one
one.
complaining about Tim Allen not being in the movie.
She was that one. She said they castrated the character.
She said, why would they castrate this iconic character by not bringing
That's
Tim
what it
Allen?
was. Okay.
And I just want to say, 1, shut up. And 2, nobody wants to hear Buzz Lightyear asking Keke Palmer why he can't call her a space nigga. So
Number 3, not a good enough reason to use the word castrate.
Also, yes,
Right?
like that's such a
Are you serious?
hard word.
it's a ridiculous word to use in this
Also, like,
context.
I'm sorry, your paragon of manliness was Buzz Lightyear?
Maybe she's saying it's Tim Allen because
Anyway.
Home Improvement. I don't know.
Tim Allen was great as Buzz Lightyear. Chris Evans is also fantastic as Buzz Lightyear and kind of sounds like Tim Allen as Buzz Lightyear in certain places.
Interesting.
And to be honest, they're
Similar
kind
voices.
of different characters because Tim Allen is playing the toy version, so he's not going to... Like, I feel like it makes sense. Like, Chris Evans, I feel like, plays a much more nuanced performance because he's playing a dude.
He plays Captain America, Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah, well, he plays
In
Buzz Lightyear as a
space.
person, not Buzz Lightyear as a toy. So it, like, I don't know. It just makes sense that they'd be different.
They are different characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Similar in ways, but like,
But different. But yeah, Chris Evans does a fantastic job. Keke Palmer is
Yo. I love her
Amazing.
so much in this movie. She was fantastic. There's a scene, the scene where Socks is telling her to fly out into space. The way she says no. No. I died. She's so good. All of her delivery, her performance. There's this hopefulness to her, but also a kind of realism. Like she's competent
to a degree.
to a degree, yes, but like she's not her grandmother, played by Uzo Aduba, who's fantastic as well.
She's great.
But yeah, I was like, Kiki, you were doing your thing. I'm so excited to see her in Nope.
I'm so glad that Keke Palmer is getting her due because we grew up with Keke Palmer. If you used to watch Disney Channel or Nickelodeon, it's really cool that she's kind of really coming into her own now. People are really starting to appreciate her in the past few years. Taika is hilarious in this movie as well.
His character was kind of hit and miss for me. I like that it was Taika, and that helped it. But some of the things they did with him was like, all right, that's probably funny for the kids.
Yeah, I feel like that character, I didn't end up liking that character. But, like, I mean, Taika's great.
Taika's great. He can carry a character that I would otherwise not tolerate sometimes.
Yo, Socks is awesome.
Socks is so good.
You mean to tell me that kids went into that movie and wanted Buzz Lightyear action figures? I want a Socks action figure. Like, come on, man.
I saw a Watch Mojo video talking about things in Lightyear, and they were saying, in case you're wondering why Andy doesn't have a Socks toy, his mom probably couldn't afford it because it was such high demand. Like, Socks was flying off the shelves.
Yeah.
Socks is amazing.
Socks is so good. And Socks looks like a character that could easily have just been, that's just there to be cute and not really give much, but
Socks is great.
He's so good. Like, everything about him. He has all the things that you need at the right moment. He's funny.
He really is an emotional support cat.
He's so great. He supports in all the different ways. When so-and-so is afraid of space, he was like, you should be. It's horrifying. Shout out to Peter Sohn.
So funny. Yeah, no, I think that it's really good. The animation's great. Disney and Pixar continue to step up their animation game every time they make a new movie. I thought it looks amazing. And it did in the trailers. Because for me, my main interest didn't actually come from the fact that this movie was about Buzz Lightyear. It was watching the trailers and going, oh, this genuinely looks like a fun, good movie. Yeah. And it was. One of the things that I thought was interesting as somebody who took an astronomy course is they use it feels like a fictional version of the theory of relativity and how space-time works.
Right.
Because, like, they do the slingshot thing. And I was like, interesting. This is based in actual science. I don't know if it's actually completely accurate.
Right.
But it is based in real scientific theory as to how space and time work. Yep. Which they do the same thing in Tenet, but in Tenet it's actually accurate. I'm not sure about Lightyear. I didn't do too much work to
see. What's funny is
that.
Tenet may be more accurate, but I couldn't make head or tail of that one. This one was very simply explained.
Did you watch Tenet?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Well, I guess you were doing that.
Oh, not Tenet. Sorry, Interstellar.
Oh.
That makes way more sense. I was like, Tenet.
Okay.
I don't know why. Sorry. Yeah, no. They do the same thing in Interstellar, but
okay.
But it's actually very scientifically accurate.
Makes a lot more sense now.
I don't know why Tenet is the one that I think it's because it's Nolan's most recent movie. It's the one that keeps hitting my brain. No, it's Interstellar. My bad.
Is he the one who's making Atom Bomb White Pride?
Stop it. Yes, he's making Oppenheimer.
That is him.
Back to Lightyear.
My last note. Probably. This movie reminded me how much I love animation.
Nice.
Because I'm watching toward the beginning, and there's a scene or two toward the start that made me think, this is beautiful, and I love it. But if this movie was live action, I might just think, I've seen space movies. Obviously, that's before we get into a lot of the character growth and all that stuff. But just from a visual standpoint, I was like, I'm really enjoying watching this. But I think there's something about animation that I just love. And that's not to discount any of the effects people who work on live action, because they do their thing and they're always great, but just there's something about it that hits different for me because there are lots of space movies and I'm not really interested in any of them. Some of them, but there are the Interstellars, the Gravities, the Lucy in the Sky, the Ad Astra, the insert white astronaut movie here, and I'm always just like, yeah, space, that's cool. But this movie hit me different and I was just like, that's so pretty, I love it.
I think there's an argument to be made. I'm not saying that this is my stance on it. I'm just saying there could be an argument made that live action movies in recent years have become very stagnant in the way that they look. Whereas animation seems to consistently be trying to try something new and to experiment and to push what they do consistently.
Yeah,
and that's not to say that live action movies don't do that.
Right.
But
I feel like it's a little bit easier to do a more distinct style in animation because you can literally make a movie that looks nothing like this other movie and they're both animated, whereas live action, you can do a lot with it, but it's like the core of it is still, it looks like real life.
Right. Like it looks like what real life looks like.
Yes.
You can do what you can with colors and effects and things like that. But at the end of the day, this is what the world looks like unless you go to great lengths to change that.
I mean, it's space, though. You can make space look like whatever you want. We don't know everything about space.
That's a good point. Although, stars, black.
Yeah, but there's so many, like, comets, asteroids, gases.
Planets
like,
and
there's
things
so
you can do
many
stuff
things
like
that
that.
you can do with a space visual.
Yeah. But yeah, space. I love it. I really like this movie. Shout out to Pixar.
It was
They
great.
usually don't miss.
I had a fun time.
It's so much fun.
Yeah, there were definitely a couple catchphrases. There was one catchphrase that Buzz said, and I like legitimately cheered, and it wasn't Infinity and Beyond. I was just so happy. I was like, oh, that's a Buzz thing. That's totally a Buzz thing.
They got a lot of his lines from the original.
And I was so happy.
Even when he lands and he's doing that thing that he did on Andy's bed where he's kind of testing the terrain and he's saying the exact line, I was like, oh my God, that's the thing he said the first.
Yeah.
I love fan service.
Perfect. All right, next movie, Spiderhead on Netflix.
Spiderhead, let's take a turn.
Take a whole turn.
So Demi and I were talking about it last night when she was taking me home because she was going to watch it, and she said she didn't know what it was about.
No idea.
Oh,
so I
fun.
looked up like a basic plot summary.
Mm-hmm.
Not summary, but like a basic, log
Which
line.
Dallas is probably going to read to you guys.
Depending on where you got it.
Fucking wild.
Yeah. Dallas,
Yeah.
tell the people about the movie.
Spiderhead is directed by Joseph Kosinski, who made Tron Legacy, Oblivion, and recently Top Gun Maverick.
He's good.
This man put out 2 movies this year within like a month of each other.
3 weeks. They're 3 weeks
That's
apart.
crazy. Written by
Him
Rhett
and
Reese.
Miles Teller.
Yeah. Forgot Miles Teller's in both of these. Look at Miles doing this thing. Written by Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick, which is kind of the reason I wanted to see it.
Are those the
because
Deadpool dudes?
Those are the Deadpool dudes and the Zombieland dudes.
Yep.
They also made Life, which is
Interesting.
very different.
Is that the Ryan Reynolds space one?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they made Six Underground, which is more like Ryan Reynolds action comedy. This ain't funny, but we'll get to that.
It
It
can
has
be
its
at
moments,
times.
but it's not like Rhett Reese, Paul Wernick. Like,
That's actually one of my critiques of the movie.
interesting.
Yeah.
The movie stars Chris Hemsworth, Miles Teller, and Journey Smollett.
Yeah.
And the IMDb summary states, in the near future, convicts are offered the chance to volunteer as medical subjects to shorten their sentences. One such subject for a new drug capable of generating feelings of love begins questioning the reality of his emotions.
That was not the synopsis that we read last night.
No.
I
the
imagine it wouldn't be, 'cause it didn't sound that
synopsis
wild.
That I read last night was like 2
Inmates.
inmates like try to basically survive. It wasn't like that with like a scientist who experiments on them. Like that was
Yes, that's,
That's another way of describing this movie.
yeah.
Dallas, what'd you think?
I
Oh, so we feel the same.
I like them.
I didn't dislike this movie.
Yep.
I don't know that I'd go far enough to say I really liked the movie.
I'm like, I like it to a degree. I like things in it, for sure.
Yeah, I definitely don't regret watching it or anything. I do kind of regret watching it when I did, after a long shift and then going to see Lightyear, which I adored, and then coming home, being tired, waiting for Kayla to go to the room, and then deciding, okay, cool, now it's time to watch Spiderhead. I was tired. And I feel like my enjoyment levels weren't as high as they might have been if I watched it under different circumstances. But also, if the movie was great, I would have liked it anyway.
True.
What do you think of it?
Yeah, I think it was all right. I think that it's a lot of very interesting concepts and
Yes.
themes that don't get delved really deep into, which
Okay.
sucks because the movie is legitimately like an hour and 30 something minutes without credits.
Right.
So there's
it's not a
definitely
long one.
time. I feel like it only hits the surface of all the things that it's trying to discuss in the movie. However, the performances are great. Chris
Yeah,
Hemsworth
all of them.
is hilarious. I love when Chris Hemsworth gets to do things that are not Thor because it's really funny to see him not be Thor. Miles Teller is great as always. And Journey Smollett, it doesn't matter the quality of the movie. If you get Journey Smollett, she gonna act. She acting. Y'all gonna get her to act. It doesn't matter. She's gonna
do it.
She gonna do it. Because there was one scene I was like, they got her acting in here. But yeah, I thought it could be better. I knew who the writers were of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, in my head, I was like, Deadpool, Zombieland.
Right.
And I thought that the writing would just be snappier than it was.
Okay. Fair.
And it wasn't as snappy as I was anticipating. Even the jokes that are in the movie weren't as snappy as they usually would be in things that I've seen them do before.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was just like, okay, this is fine.
I do like that they have that range. Did you watch Life?
I haven't seen Life.
Life is just basically Alien, but in 2017 or something like that. It's
Yeah,
not
that's what it looked like.
like, it's funny to the extent that Ryan Reynolds is in it and he's going to be funny.
Yeah.
But the movie's not funny. It's very dark.
And this movie isn't funny, and it shouldn't
Right.
be funny. But
And
the scenes where it is supposed to be funny,
yeah, when they have their little jokes here and there, it's like, okay, cool. I feel like I like these writers better going all out comedy because Zombieland I love, Deadpool I love.
Yep.
And they can make it dark and ominous like they do here, and they're good at that. But, it's cool. Yeah, so you didn't watch the trailer or anything?
I did watch the trailer, and I still didn't know what the movie was
That's
about.
fair. It's a lot. I watched the trailer, and people are screaming. Some white girls getting dicked down. Miles Teller looks scared.
That's true. And I'm going to be honest, I thought that the movie was going to be a lot more graphic than it ended up. I was thankful for that. I was thankful that it was not as graphic as I was anticipating that it was going to be.
Yeah. It was a lot. Like, they show the window with the blood on it. And something's going to happen.
Like, that's a lot. But it's better than, like, I was glad I didn't have to watch the scene, or I didn't have to watch the moment that causes all of that blood to end up on that window.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to do that.
I didn't need that. Yeah, it's a dark movie. The premise is inherently dark. A rich white dude is experimenting on
a bunch of inmates,
which is rough. But that moment, the blood, it gets super dark from that point on. Like, darker than Ari Aster's soul, I would say.
You sure about that?
No, not entirely. It's just, I was like, oh, I'm not having fun anymore. But I think I liked it more toward the beginning when they're establishing characters and what this world is and what these things do. I was thinking, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then toward the end, it got pretty chaotic.
So here's the thing. I liked the setup, as you said.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I really liked the third act where it did get chaotic. Because I feel like that's where the writers really shine, is the chaos. They're so good at writing that type of chaos. And also the acting at that point is so good.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like if Act 2 had really given us something to like pay off with that third act, the movie would have been so much better. But like I really liked the third act and how crazy it got. Like things just got really weird.
Yeah.
And I was just like, where was this during the second act?
Yeah, I think I agree with that to an extent, because I don't know what I would have needed from that bit at the end to like it more, but I was just thinking, okay, we're doing this, that makes sense, I guess.
I needed to care more about the characters for the third act to really
hit you.
pop.
I think
because I feel like they tell us things about these characters and we're just supposed to care because you told us,
right?
But I feel like we didn't really dive deep, which is really weird because this is a movie about emotion.
Yeah, and there's only like 2 characters that we really need to care about, and then the villain.
Yeah.
And then a bunch of extras, various white people in prison. And that guy Mark, he was cool. The helper.
Yeah, Mark was dope.
Yeah, the villain with the heart of gold or whatever. But yeah, Chris Hemsworth is really good, and also he does something.
He's wild in this movie.
He does something that I feel like we can all relate to as people who have worked in the service industry. When he says, hey, this isn't really on me. My bosses want this to happen. I can't really do that. And then Miles Teller is like, well, could you talk to them? And then he leaves the room. He says, yeah, I got you. He leaves the room, does not talk to anyone, goes and does something completely unrelated. And then comes back in. It's like, man, I talked to him. I can't.
Yeah.
They're not rocking with it. And it's just like,
oh
yo.
my God.
When you say it in that way, it's hilarious because it's true.
Yeah.
But when I was watching the movie, I was like, oh, you're a dick.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is watching the movie, I thought, oh, this nigga's bad. But then I thought about what he had just done, and I was like, oh, I've done it at ArcLight. Like, I've literally gone into the back office at ArcLight, talked to the manager and said, hey, they want me to ask you if they can do this. I know the answer is no, so I'm just back here to say I talked to you. I'm about to go tell them no. And they're like, all right, bet. So I go
I've
out.
done that so many times. Like, so this is what this person wants. I know they're not going to get it. But like, I'm just going to, this is just, just checking in with you, just to make sure that I did do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So I can say that I talked to you. And that's, to be honest, I feel like us doing that is going above and beyond, because I've seen people straight up walk to the back concessions, check their phone for a bit and be like, all right, and then walk back out.
Yep.
Nope. Not even look
100%.
for a manager. They're like, hey, Maria, they said no, like, no, right? I go, cool. All right. I was like, it's a no, bro.
But back to Spiderhead. I think my last note that I want to talk about is I really like the movie visually, because I really like Joseph Kosinski's visual style, and I discovered that when I went to go see Top Gun Maverick, which that's a movie I highly recommend.
Nice.
Because I really loved his visual style in Tron Legacy.
Oh, yeah.
And man, that was back in 2010?
Something like that.
And though I don't think I saw a movie again from him until Top Gun Maverick, and I was like, oh no, I really like your style.
Yeah.
And I don't think he pushed it as hard in Spiderhead, but there are definitely visual moments where I'm like, ooh, that looks nice. I really like this. Like whenever you can have him do soft sci-fi lighting,
Okay.
It's gonna look cool. It's gonna look good. I really like his visual style. I like Joseph Kosinski. But if you're gonna see one of the movies that he made this year, I would recommend that you go see Top Gun Maverick.
I would recommend this if you like the dark, weird side of.
It's definitely dark and
Film.
it's definitely weird at times.
Also, kudos to them for. Well, it sounds weird to say kudos to them for working that chick getting rawed into the storyline, but I'm gonna clarify. When I saw the trailer, I just thought, okay, they mess with people's emotions. They're just gonna throw in a sex scene because they can. Like, oh, haha, we made you have sex. But that's actually a lot more narratively relevant than I expected.
Yes, it
like,
is.
A big part of the movie's plot hinges on that particular experiment.
Yep.
And I was like, oh.
And shout out to them
They're
for
doing stuff with
not
that.
being like gratuitous about it, because it is
Yeah,
a
we didn't
rated
even get no
R.
titties.
Yeah, it's a rated R movie, but it's not a gratuitous rated R movie.
Yeah, I watched the movie and I thought, if I don't like it, at least there are going to be some titties. There weren't titties.
There were not.
Shout out to them for making a tittyless sex scene.
Oh, but the other thing is this movie is based on a short story,
It is.
and I feel like it felt like they were having a hard time expanding it beyond being something short. I've never read the short story.
It's on the New Yorker, apparently.
Yeah, it is. But I feel like
In the New Yorker?
yeah, something like that. But it seemed like they had a hard time like fleshing out that story into something larger, which is why it feels so surface level.
Interesting point.
But Journey's great, always.
She's
Can't
great.
wait to see her in a Black Canary movie. That's what I want.
Yeah. That is Spiderhead. It's dark. It's weird. If you're into that, check it out. Don't
It's
expect-
on Netflix. I mean, come on.
Right.
And it's
If you
only an
have
hour and
Netflix-
46 minutes or
And
something.
if you don't have Netflix, someone you know has Netflix and you have their password. That's how this works.
What you been watching?
What you been watching? What you been doing? I watched a lot during our hiatus, and now that stuff is far back enough that I don't feel like talking about it. But I recently rewatched Umbrella Academy season 2.
Because season 3 is coming
Season
out.
3 is coming out on Wednesday. Yes, the 22nd. And I'm excited. I like season 2 a lot more than season 1.
I love both of those
I
seasons.
like most of the characters more the second time around.
I should have been rewatching that instead of Lovecraft Country.
Yeah, that show's done.
True.
Rip.
Rip. For
yeah.
sure.
Umbrella Academy's fun. There are things about it I didn't love. Like, I don't like the fact that they made Vanya a home-wrecking hussy. But aside from that,
I mean, I don't think you call men hussies.
a man could be a hussy.
Do we call men hussies?
We should start.
Okay, let's start.
I probably called Colin a hussy before when he makes me mad.
What is Vanya's name now going forward, actually?
Victor.
Okay, I was wondering how they're going to adjust that in the show.
Yeah, it's Victor Hargreaves.
Nice. Okay, cool. Sorry,
Cool.
continue. Vanya. Yeah, hussy.
Yes. Vanya's a hussy, and that whole storyline to me was it ranged from boring to aggravating because Colin knows this. I have a thing about infidelity storylines that just bother me.
Yeah, fair.
But everybody else, I was like, yo, I'm here for it. Allison, be a freedom fighter. Diego, please sort out your daddy issues.
I love Diego and Lila, and I'm so excited to see them back in season 3. I'm so excited to see Lila back in season 3.
She's so interesting.
I love her.
And
Ritu Ari is great.
she's really good. 5 became my favorite character in season 2.
Nice.
His sarcasm and just amount of being over it with his entire family never gets old. My favorite scenes are always the ones when the family's interacting together. And I think that's part of an issue I had with this season was that they're all scattered in the beginning.
Yeah.
And we have to get them together. But some of my favorite seasons, when he's with Big Ape nigga Luther and Diego and the Swedish dudes write Olga for Olga in
Yeah.
the blood, and they're trying to find out who Olga for Olga is.
Yeah.
And he sees them, and immediately he's like, it's Olga for Olga, idiots. It means eye for an eye. And then we get Vanya, Allison, and Klaus in the
Oh, that
salon.
was such a good
And when
trio.
they finally call out Allison for making little puppy eyes at her brother, and she has to do the technically we're not blood related, and Klaus is like, if you have to use the word technically, you're already in trouble. I love that scene because
It'll be interesting when we get to season 3 and that timeline no longer exists because
yeah, but we're gonna get Ben back, kinda.
we are.
I don't know what he's gonna be like.
He's number 1 now, isn't he?
I assume,
Or is
but
he- Oh, actually, you might be number 3. I don't know.
I don't know. I love Ben, and I was sad when he like
Went on.
force ghosted away or whatever he does in season 2. But then he came back for the end in another parallel universe. So I'm excited. But
Yeah.
yeah, season 2 is dope. I like it more than season 1. It's really funny, but also gets really sad.
It also has Yusuf Gatewood in it, and I love Yusuf.
He's good.
He was my choice for Mr. Fantastic.
I was thinking about that every time he popped up on screen. It's like, hey, that's Demi's Mr. Fantastic.
I still think he would be a great Mr. Fantastic.
He has that kind of vibe, yeah.
I feel like I gotta give Umbrella Academy another try because, like, I rocked with the first season, but the second season I watched the first couple episodes and it wasn't hitting for me. But I want to try it again.
Do you like the kind of family dynamic of it?
I think so. Like, the thing that really sold me on it was, it might be in the first episode, but that really big like dance scene where they're all in their separate
They
rooms.
do that later.
Yeah.
Like that slapped.
That happens. I think they do it again in season 2, don't they?
Oh, really?
They have a later. Oh no, it's just the 3. It's Allison, Klaus,
Klaus, and
Vanya.
Vanya. Have one.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, because I said the first few episodes feel different than the, I guess, latter half of the season.
Okay.
Because it's more of like scattered out stories.
And them trying to figure out how to live in the 60s.
Yeah, which, you know, this one's black.
Poor Allison.
This one's gay. This one's gay.
This one's crazy.
No.
This one might be Hispanic of some sort.
He's Latino.
Okay, I thought so. He's great. Fun show. I
Can't wait
recommend
to
it.
have him and Lila back.
If you can tolerate the weirdness. It's super weird. But, you know, it's fun. It's a fun time.
It's a fun time.
I'm excited for season 3. Demi, what you been doing, watching, or saying?
So I would have talked about Love, Victor had I finished it. We'll come back to Love, Victor when I finish it. I've been watching Critical Role. I had to catch up because I spent like a month not doing much of any watching of anything.
Right.
So yeah, I caught up on campaign 3 of Critical Role. I had like 3 episodes I was behind on, and then they've been doing a little mini series right now, which it just ended this past Thursday, called Exandria Unlimited Calamity. And oh my gosh, some of the best storytelling I've ever seen. It's 4 episodes, and it's basically about this group of people trying to stop the end of their world.
Like Umbrella Academy.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
And one of the things that I really liked was this world has been created by Matthew Mercer, who is the DM of the main campaign. This mini campaign was DM'd by Brennan Lee Mulligan, who is excellent storyteller.
Have you watched any of Dimension 20?
No, I don't think I have.
I can give you some recommendations that I think you would really like.
You should. I've watched Misfits and Magic, and he's great on Misfits and Magic.
Yeah, but if you want to see him like as a GM, there's a couple seasons that I think you would particularly rock.
Yeah,
with.
I think I probably will start watching him as a DM because he's really good. But basically, Matthew Mercer created this world, its history. His players all play within that world that he has created. And this story takes place during what they call the Calamity, which was an apocalyptic event, basically. And it changed the fabric of their world. And so going into it, you know that it can't have a happy ending. You know it's going to be tragic.
Right.
But what's cool is that it takes place at the end of this, what they call the Age of Arcanum. And it was an age of like magic and basically prestige and like, you know how things go. You're at the highest point.
This sounds like my shit.
Dude, you've got to watch it. Like it takes place at like the highest point of like wealth and magic and just so it's so cool. And it's just like, oh my gosh, these people have all these cool magical items and they're like kind of high up in their society and they're like the ones running everything and making sure everything is running smoothly. And then they realize something bad is happening and that there's been corruption going on. And because of this corruption, it's going to lead to the end of everything.
Oh.
These characters have to figure out whether or not they are going to be, if they are the heroes of this story or if they are the villains, or if there's even a difference between the two. Maybe their actions throughout the entirety of their lives has helped lead to this point where the world might end. Maybe their hubris has gotten in the way and has been a problem, and now the world has to suffer for it.
Yikes.
And like, it's so cool. It's so great. These characters are so great. I love these actors as well. I'm a huge fan of Lou Wilson and Abria Iyengar from Misfits and Magic mostly, which they did with Brennan and Lee Mulligan, who I'm a fan of because of that. Abria had already done DMing for another miniature Exandria Unlimited campaign, and I fell in love with her from that. And then you've got Marisha Ray and Travis Willingham and Sam Riegel, who are main cast members of Critical Role, and I love them. They're great, especially The Legend of Vox Machina, which is the show that they based off of their one of their campaigns for Critical Role.
Right.
And then Luis Carrazzo, I believe is his last name.
I think so.
Sorry if I got your name wrong, dude. But he was fantastic as well, and I've never seen him do anything before. But yeah, Critical Role. It's great if you don't mind sitting down for a few hours and just watching people play D&D. But it's so much fun because you can feel the camaraderie, and it's really good storytelling, and you fall in love with these characters. And like, it's not even like you're watching an animation or an animatic or anything of these characters doing things. It's literally just people sitting around a table talking about what their characters are doing or what they're feeling, what they're saying. And it's just so much fun, and it's so engaging and so enthralling. And like the finale, it was a 4-part series. The finale was 6 hours. They start at 7 p.m. every Thursday night.
Jeez.
And I was just like, I started at 7, and Colin was like, yeah, I heard this one's 6 hours. And I was like, I'm sorry, it's what? And I was just like, I have nothing else to do for the rest of the night, though. So I'll just sit here. But man, it was so worth it. But like the thing is, though, because it's on Twitch and on YouTube, you can always just go back later.
True.
And just like, you can stop at a certain point. And
right.
They have a break in the middle of the episodes. So sometimes.
As they should.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm watching anything for 6 hours straight.
Sometimes what I end up doing is if I know that I'm not in the mood to finish a whole 4-hour, 5-hour episode or 6-hour in the case of the finale, then I'll just be like, I'll go until the break, which is like 2 hours. Mm-hmm. And then I'll come back to this another day and keep watching.
I feel you.
So Critical Role. It's great. Watching people play D&D is actually how I got into D&D because it made it easier for me to understand how to play. And now I'm into Critical Role, and I guess I'm a critter now. I'm obsessed. It's great. So yeah, that's what I've been watching.
Were you watching people like on the internet, or like people you were with them and they were playing?
No, I was watching people on the internet. One of my favorite series to watch is Force Grey because it's much shorter. It's like half-hour episodes until you reach like the finale, which is like a 2-part, like 2-hour each series.
Sounds
but palatable. I love watching Force Grey because Matthew Mercer's the DM. He's a great DM. But then he's got Deborah Ann Woll from Daredevil and True Blood playing. Joe Manganiello is playing. Dylan Sprouse, Utkarsh Umbukad, our boy. Brian Posehn plays as well. It's just it's a cast of celebrities that you know playing D&D, which is a lot of fun.
Utkarsh is a friend of the show because Davi Diggs is our best friend, in case you guys forgot.
We'll bring that back later. But yeah, that's what I've been watching. I've been watching. It was nice, like for days where I just didn't feel like doing anything, to just be like, I can put on this 4-hour episode of Critical Role, and I don't feel like doing anything else, but at least I have something to hold my attention for a long period of time.
I feel you. I've gotten into watching really long YouTube videos, like video essays and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Always about stuff like Recess on Disney Channel or something like that, and it's just great. I need more of those.
Yeah. Guys, I'm trying to get Dallas to play at least one tabletop RPG with us. I just want to see it happen.
I don't know why he's so against it, because he hasn't. Like, we can find you a simpler system where you don't need 7 different dice.
I want him to play the Avatar one with us. It'll be so easy.
That's the thing. There are some systems that just use 2 basic ass dice. You know, the regular 6-sided? Just use 2 of those.
Like, I know you like Avatar. So
also that.
You can be a bender, whatever you want. I don't care. Just I want to get him to play a tabletop RPG. Plus, he's a writer.
It makes a lot of sense.
It'll be fun. Anyway,
engage with us. Make Dallas do it.
It's probably not going to happen, but
guys, we're going to put up a poll. Let us know if Dallas should play a tabletop RPG.
See, what we're going to do is we'll do like the Patreon thing, and then when we get to a certain threshold, you have to do it, and we'll like stream it or something.
That works.
Only for the Patreon, though.
Yeah. $10,000.
I'll DM.
Give me money, and I will do things.
Okay.
Yep.
News.
All right, moving on to the news. The news is I do things for money.
Speaking of more news.
But, you know, don't we all? Capitalism.
We're
not trailer tracking because we didn't see any trailers that we felt like talking about. Or, you know, I didn't because I put this news list together. Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery.
Yay, not a trailer, but had a video. Had a title reveal.
A title reveal and a release, not a release date, but like a release
period
time area.
In my mind, because this is Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery, I think is the subtitle.
Yes.
Yeah. So in my mind, this movie is going to hinge on like something to do with Shrek. It won't, but I want it to.
Onion.
Nicely done.
I mean, hey, you never know. But yeah, I'm super excited. It's coming out. I forgot it was a Netflix thing.
Oh yeah.
Because I forget everything.
Isn't there also going to be a third?
Yes.
Yeah, they made Rian Johnson made a deal with Netflix to do his 2 sequels on Netflix.
That man, He's doing 2 sequels to that. He still has a trilogy of Star Wars movies. Is that right?
It's on the back burner because he's so busy with Knives Out, but according to Kathleen Kennedy, it is still happening.
Lord, that man.
Congrats to him. He's doing the things that he wants to do, though.
Right? Like, that's awesome.
Like, Knives Out was his original concept, and it's really nice to see, like, original ideas spawning new things. Plus, I freaking love Knives Out, and I'm so excited to have a sequel. Oh, my gosh. And especially,
literally,
his casts are so stacked every time.
Yeah. Literally everyone but Colin loves Knives Out. Colin's the only person I've ever spoken to in person who didn't, because Colin is strange.
I think we established that Colin is not one for mysteries.
This is true. I'm not.
Fun.
Okay. I'm not going to agree or disagree. That's his
Hey, Dallas?
I mean, you can disagree.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Why wouldn't you disagree with that?
Anyway, but the cast for Glass Onion is like, outside of Daniel Craig returning as Benoit Blanc, Ethan Hawke, Jessica Henwick, Kathryn Hahn, Edward Norton, Madeline Klein, Dave Bautista, Kate Hudson, Janelle Monáe, and Leslie Odom Jr.
That's fan-freaking
wild.
And I love Kathryn Hahn, and I just want to see her in more stuff. I forgot about Kate Hudson, just like as a concept. So glad to see she's back at it.
She's great. Yeah, that cast is stacked, and just, oh God, the first Knives Out was so well written, and I'm so excited to see what Rian Johnson does within. Rian Johnson is one of my favorite writer-directors.
He's good.
Even before Star Wars. Like, I was a huge fan of Brick, which is another murder mystery movie. I love Looper. I just really like his movies. So the fact that he's doing more Knives Out movies and also Star Wars movies eventually, I really like his stuff. I'm really excited.
Colin, would you like to address the claim that you don't like fun?
I do like fun.
He has his own version of fun, and we should just let that be.
Like Plankton from SpongeBob.
Not as destructive.
Got it. All right. What else we got? Hey, we were talking about Avatar earlier. Avatar, they're making 3 movies. They're animated. And there's like... So that thing that came out about what they're about. Is that a rumor?
Believe it. It's
That's
a rumor. So
Grain of salt.
The rumor was that
the first movie is about Kyoshi.
Yes, the second movie is about Zuko, and the third movie is about Korra. The only reason I doubt this is because the first movie was announced like last year. They said they were going to do a movie.
Yes.
And this new announcement, that the official thing was that movie is getting 2 sequels. Now, if they're calling them sequels, it seems weird to me that they would be about different characters that didn't really interact all that much, depending on when in their timeline you do it.
Okay.
But 3 movies is exciting. I personally would prefer shows. I just do prefer shows, but like, you want to give me 3 Avatar movies, I'm not going to complain. Like, I think if they do Kyoshi, I think it should be more than 1 movie, just because she has 2 books. Even if you're not adapting those, like, a lot of time passes in those, and I just think you would be better served doing more. The concept of a Zuko movie doesn't terribly interest me, because I imagine it would just be a lot of politics.
I mean, fire.
Yeah. But I don't know. Anyway, you look at it,
trauma.
The fact that we're getting more Avatar is just so exciting, because I didn't think this was going to happen. After Legend of Korra got screwed over by Nick and that whole thing, like I didn't think Avatar was going to keep going ever.
I'm going to be honest. Them being screwed over by Nick for Legend of Korra is the reason I'm like, yo, give me a Korra movie. Also because Korra is she my favorite? She might be my favorite Avatar character overall.
Okay, see,
because
I thought you were going to say favorite Avatar, and I was like, honey, there really aren't that many to choose from. It's not
To be
hard.
fair, I only really know about her and Aang. So if I had to choose between her and Aang, I'm choosing Korra.
I'll lend you the Kyoshi books. I think you would like them.
Yeah, but what...
I think she's your favorite Avatar character.
And Wan. But yeah, I think she might be... Well, Asami also exists. So it's like, is it Korra or is it Asami?
Por qué no los dos?
It is both. It's Korra Asami.
Yeah.
So, but I would love to have a Korra movie. I would love to see what Korra's doing after the events of The Legend of Korra, especially because her and Asami are now an official couple. Put that on screen for me, Playboy, not just in the comics. And you know what? I wouldn't mind. Usually I'm one of those people who would like you to move out from original characters that we've already seen before, but I would be interested in an adult Aang movie or series or miniseries, just because we got a little bit from The Legend of Korra, but I'm still very curious as to what adult Aang was like.
See, that's interesting, because I feel like...
And what that world became.
I feel like... And they're coming out with a book about Yang Chen, and I don't know when in her life that's going to take place. But, like, you think about the 2 series that we've gotten and like the Kyoshi books, all of those take place as the Avatar is like discovering that they're the Avatar and working it out. And I feel like, I don't know, I'm just a little bit less interested when I know that they figured it out and they're just living the Avatar life.
I think I'm just curious because we see the world in The Last Airbender, and then we see how different of a world it is in The Legend of Korra. And Aang and his friends very much had a large impact and role in how the world became what it is in The Legend of Korra. So I would be curious to see how that came about.
Yeah, I mean, I would also, now that you say that, it would be interesting to see how Aang dealt with that, because like there's that whole thing when he meets the Mechanist and Teo in the Air Temple where he's like, you are destroying my culture. So him coming around to, I guess, just technology would be really interesting to see.
Yeah, I love talking about the differences between those 2 shows because Avatar: The Last Airbender, Aang is the Avatar during a time where the world needs the Avatar. But Korra is the Avatar in a time where the world doesn't necessarily need an Avatar anymore. So how did the world get to that point where you don't really need an Avatar?
That's a good point. That's probably in large part due to like Aang and Zuko.
Yeah, so I would love to see a TV series within that time period of how did we get from, in that 100 years, how did we get from where Aang was to where Korra is now living?
Okay, yeah.
Yo, hire me, guys. I know you guys got the studio up and running. Y'all just getting going. I'm ready. I got ideas. I just watched it for the first time like last year or 2 years ago, but I'm ready. I got it.
I just like, I don't, this is one of those things, like Avatar is one of those things, I don't care what I get, I'm going to be happy.
That's
like,
how I feel about Star Wars.
I just, the fact that there's going to be more of it, because I didn't think this was going to happen, and I'm just so excited.
Couple things that I noticed in this article that I didn't bother to actually read until now. One, the thing says that there is the first of 3 standalone stories. So I think that
okay, they're
thing
not
is probably
sequels.
out the window now.
Okay, so
that rumor might hold some weight.
Okay, cool.
Nice.
And 2, the movie's apparently being directed by Lauren Montgomery, who I think is super dope because,
who is that?
as I've talked about all the freaking time, I watch DC animated movies and they're all great, and she made a bunch of them.
As soon as you said you were excited, I was like, she did DC animated stuff.
She did Wonder Woman, Justice League Crisis on 2 Earths, Superman, Batman, Apocalypse, Justice League Doom, which is super fire, Batman Year One. The Catwoman short, have you seen that gift set of Catwoman stripping?
I've actually seen that short.
Oh, good.
Because
She made that.
Eliza Dushku's playing Catwoman in it.
Yes. And
Which
she
is
also
why I've
plays
seen
her in the movie Batman Year One,
Which
that
I've
the short is kind of based
never
on.
watched, and I need to watch Batman Year One. But I've seen the short because I was like, Eliza Dushku.
See,
Yes.
that
short is fire
is,
for reasons.
that fills me with a level of confidence, because that tells me that she has continually been trusted with established and beloved characters before.
Yes,
You
on
know?
numerous occasions.
Yeah. I mean,
She's worked on, like,
when
the
people trust you
Scooby-Doo
with
thing.
Batman, Superman, like,
Voltron.
yeah.
She worked on an episode of Young Justice,
Okay.
Nice.
which is fantastic. But yeah, she's dope. She makes really good work. So I'm happy to see what she's going to do with Avatar. Maybe Asami will be stripping.
I doubt that.
I doubt it too. But
Especially because,
let me
not
dream.
even just because it's for kids, but because of who Asami is as a person.
Yeah, she didn't have stripper energy.
Yeah, she doesn't.
Who has stripper energy?
I don't know. I
Bolin.
mean, she showed out.
Bolin. Bolin. He
You're
would do
not
something for some money.
wrong. He did do something.
He's basically a stripper in that movie.
that Nuktuk costume was very revealing.
Nuktuk is softcore porn.
Pretty much.
Man, my dude's on Skinamax.
Next piece of news.
Anyway.
Dude, we could do a podcast about The Last Airbender. Like, we clearly just went on a tangent.
I'm saying we had a really good, I think was a really good potential name for the podcast if it was going to be about Avatar. But it's not about Avatar. So
You got to tell us that later so nobody steals it.
Of course.
Yeah.
Destin Daniel Cretton is producing a Wonder Man series for Disney Plus, and Andrew Guest is the head writer. For those who don't know, like me, I read this, Destin Daniel Cretton made Shang-Chi.
Oh, you guys didn't know that was his name?
I knew that when I saw Shang-Chi,
Okay.
and then I forgot. And then I remembered.
Wonder Man.
He's
Wonder Man.
Carol Danvers' ex-boyfriend in the comics. In fact, he's in like one of my favorite Ms. Marvel series.
Okay.
What does he do?
He's strong, and he can fly. I don't know.
He's
I don't
a
remember.
bit like Superman.
Okay.
He the only thing I've actually read with Wonder Man in it was House of M, because he's kind of like a TV personality as well. He's flight, immortality, virtual invulnerability, which I don't know,
So he's not invulnerable, but almost.
Very
Virtually, he is.
Superhuman
Enhanced
strength.
everything.
Yeah, superhuman
Okay.
strength,
There's a bunch of
speed,
powers.
agility,
All right.
stamina, and reflexes, enhanced vision and hearing, healing
geez.
factor,
Okay.
ionic
Yep.
energy manipulation, power recycling,
Yep.
electromagnetic
Absolutely.
manipulation, energy enhanced
Okay.
strike, size alteration, shapeshifting,
You don't have to keep going.
self-sustenance, and teleportation.
Self-sustenance.
Yeah, he photosynthesizes.
You threw that one in there too.
Um,
I hate him already.
Wonder Man.
What's the guy's name?
Yes.
Daniel. What's his full
Destin
name?
Daniel Cretton?
Destin Daniel Cretton. Isn't he also doing One Punch Man?
Maybe.
No, that's Justin Lin,
Oh, Justin Lin. Okay.
the guy who just left Fast and Furious.
Okay.
Yeah, apparently Nathan Fillion was going to play Wonder Man in
No, he
Guardians
cameos
2.
in Guardians.
Is he playing
Not
Wonder Man?
as Wonder Man.
In Guardians of the Galaxy, he does cameo as Wonder Man in posters and stuff like that.
Oh.
But he's not in it, so it's one of those things where it's like we could recast him because Nathan Fillion doesn't actually do anything in these movies.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, according
Go.
to Wikipedia, he had scenes in the film that were cut. So I guess they filmed stuff with him. I feel like he'd make a good Wonder Man, but I don't know anything about this character. Although I do know that DC was mad when Marvel made Wonder Man because they had Wonder Woman. And here's a quote from Stan Lee. In 1978, he said, years ago, we brought out Wonder Man, and DC sued us because they had Wonder Woman. And I said, okay, I'll discontinue Wonder Man. And all of a sudden, they've got Power Girl after Marvel already had Power Man. Oh boy, how unfair. It's like, yeah, DC. Y'all some punks.
yeah, no, I remember. I'm mostly excited because he was in, like I said, a Ms. Marvel series that I read. It was the first Ms. Marvel series that I ever read years ago with Carol Danvers, and I loved the relationship between he and Carol. But they also fight each other in that comic, and he's got so many powers that he can keep up with Captain Marvel. So
Yeah, he has all the powers, apparently.
he has all the powers, and so I would love to see him and Carol get to interact together. And it makes sense. We're going into a more cosmic area of the MCU, and his powers seem to fit in with that. They kind of changed Ms. Marvel's powers on the show to fit in with the cosmic aspects of where they're trying to go with the universe. So
Yeah, they did. They did do that.
yeah, so it'll be interesting.
Yeah, and also DDC, he's dope. Shang-Chi was really cool. I think part of the reason I like Shang-Chi is because, nigga got hands. So I don't know how well that's going to translate to a different kind of character like Wonder Man, but I look forward to seeing
And I've heard
what they do.
that Just Mercy is a very good movie. So
He made Just Mercy?
yeah,
Oh, that's different.
he made Just Mercy, Short Term 12.
This guy's got some range.
Yeah,
Just Mercy is a black lawyer movie, right?
yeah, that's the one with Michael B. Jordan and Jamie Foxx and Brie Larson.
Yeah.
That's funny. He has a movie out called I Am Not a Hipster.
Okay. Why not? Moving on to something you guys might care
Okay, so
about.
in
maybe
my
you don't.
mind, there's a cinematic universe between I Am Not Your Negro and I Am Not a Hipster. I don't know what it is, but I want to know.
Ooh, Interesting.
It's the I Am Not series.
Yes.
Also, by the way, he's a very nice and very funny guy. I saw him at a film festival last year.
Doesn't Daniel Cretton?
Yep.
Nice. I like when people are nice. Right?
No,
Don't we
that
all?
like you say that and it sounds simple, but it makes a lot of sense.
because so many people aren't. It's just like,
Especially in Hollywood. We've been hearing a lot of stuff recently.
right. And so many directors just turned out to be awful. But, it's always nice when someone's nice. That's our slogan here. Be nice. Kit Harington. He's attached to a Jon Snow Game of Thrones spinoff series in development at HBO. I ain't gonna watch.
That's
Turning it
so
over to you.
funny. Me and Colin were
Boy.
talking about this yesterday.
Okay, here's the thing. It's hard for me to separate my personal feelings from what I recognize that they're doing. What I recognize that they're doing is they're taking one of the most popular characters from the show and giving him a spin-off.
Mm-hmm.
In my mind, they're taking one of the most boring characters from the show and giving him a spin-off. But hey, that's fine. They can do what they want. I just feel like Game of Thrones, it was riding high, and then the last season happened. And now it's completely out of cultural consciousness. Like, no one's really thinking about it or talking about it anymore.
Unless they give us news about it or we're talking about how it's no longer in the cultural consciousness.
Yes. And they're trying with House of the Dragon. That's a complete toss-up for me. I have no idea how
Incest
that will
Power
go.
Hour, for those who don't know.
The Incest Power Hour, you're right.
It's true.
And now this. And I'm like,
And now this.
I just... Why? Like, what is this show? This show presumably is going to be Jon Snow Beyond the Wall doing Beyond the Wall things. Again. Like, why do people care is what I don't understand. I understand going back and doing the Targaryens or going sideways if you wanted to do that. But this just feels like you told this guy's story. This was his story. What else is there?
I mean, unless they're finally going to address the fact that he is, by right, king of the Seven Kingdoms. Not that that matters anymore because they got rid of how that works.
They can address it, but I don't think his feelings on it are going to change. I don't think he's going to be like, I want to be king now. Like, no.
Yeah, but also the people who would care about that are probably not beyond the wall where he is. So, unless he's going to come back from beyond the wall. I don't know. I don't know where the story is going to go. I was surprised that Kit Harington decided to come back because he had to go to rehab or something after being done with Game of Thrones because it messed with him mentally so much. It was such a big part of his life for so long.
Dang, dude.
I mean, that was 10 years of his life. That's what he did for 10 years. That was his career.
Jesus Christ.
But what did they do to him?
Well, in season 5, they killed him.
That's true.
Just got to do a number on somebody.
Yeah, no. So I was surprised that he decided to come back.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised that they're doing a show about Jon Snow because, like you said, I don't know where the show could go. But the fun thing about, and I said this to Colin yesterday, the thing about being a writer, thing about writing and about TV shows, you can make anything happen.
Yeah.
Like, it's your job to figure out how you want to do this.
Here's the thing, though.
Oh, he checked into a mental health and wellness facility to seek help for some personal issues.
Okay, that's different.
See, here's my thing. I saw a tweet about it last night that I hadn't considered. The discourse on this show, if he gets a love interest, do you know how obnoxious people are going to be about that?
Oh my gosh.
Like between Ygritte and Dany, like it's just...
You think people are going to be mad it's not his aunt?
Yes, I think people are going to be mad it's not his aunt.
I hate to say that people are going to be mad that it's not his aunt, but they are going to be mad that it's not his aunt. I'm going to be happy that it's not his aunt.
Game of Thrones has set its precedent that it is okay with incest.
Yeah.
We know that.
Which I don't understand
Game of Thrones,
because
it's going to be in House of the Dragon because that's the Targaryen thing.
Here's the thing about Game of Thrones that I never understood was that Game of Thrones, the text was saying it's not okay because everybody that was involved in incest was either a horrible person or it ended horribly.
Yeah,
for your bloodline.
That's the whole thing about the Targaryens is that when a Targaryen is born, the gods flip a coin. Either they're normal or they're crazy. And it's like...
And then you had Cersei and Jaime.
Yeah, that was just
their
awful.
Relationship was awful.
They had sex like on top of their son's corpse or something. It's awful.
I heard about that.
Awful.
Yeah, that wasn't sex. That was something completely different.
Sexual stuff happened. Let's put it that way. Point is, it's bad. And
then we got to Jon and Dany, and people were like, I ship it, even though they're aunt and nephew. And it was like, guys, what has the show been telling us for the last 7 seasons?
So, I know The Boys is wild.
It is.
But I just feel like the amount of grief that Gabby and Colin throw our way for watching The Boys. After having watched the show that contains the scene you just described.
Yeah.
Of maybe sex, maybe rape.
Here's the difference to me. Game of Thrones does not present these things in a sort of wild, gratuitous way.
Gotcha. Like they happen, but it's not like, hey,
if someone got their dick blown off, I don't think Game of Thrones would straight up show the dick exploding.
That's good.
We would hope.
They might show an arrow going into where it goes, but I don't think they would straight up show it. That's, I think, the difference to me.
Okay, so it's about the presentation. Not what happens, but how it happens.
Yes.
That's fair.
Yes.
That's fair. All right, well, y'all have fun with Jon Snow.
That said, who cares?
I mean, Colin would have to have fun if he bothered to watch it. I will probably check it out to see what they're going to do.
I'm just upset because I know there are cool things that Game of Thrones could do. They're going to make the Dunk and Egg stories into a show. That's awesome.
And it's animated, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and that's just going to be so much fun because those have nothing to do with anything. They're just a dude and a prince bopping around, having a good time. I'm down for that, 100%. If they want to do something with the face that launched 1,000 ships or whatever the fuck, fine, whatever. But Incest Power Hour and Jon Snow, just these are the ones you're really pushing right now? Okay.
I make it sound like I'm not excited about this show. I unlike Colin, I don't find Jon Snow to be a boring character. Jon Snow was legitimately one of my favorite characters from the beginning of the show. I've always loved Jon Snow. I just don't know what they're going to do with the show, so the excitement level isn't quite there, but it's like, oh, that's cool. Jon Snow's coming back for a show. I don't know what you're going to do with it, but all right, sweet. Let's see what they do. Same thing with House of Dragons. I'm watching it because of the Targaryen name. even though Danny was my favorite character, and Danny will not be involved in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
But I'm like, all right, let's see what they're doing over here.
And in fairness, we've already established that Colin's relationship with fun is different from most people.
Yeah.
Normal people. All right, moving on. Speaking of fun, Guy Ritchie's making another Disney live-action movie.
Let's go.
This time it's Hercules.
Let's go.
Okay, see,
Zero to hero.
This is one of those things where it's like, in general, I think the Disney live-action movies are a waste of time. I don't know. This one scares me because I love this movie.
Oh.
And I don't care about Aladdin in the way that some people do. I don't care about Lion King in the way that some people do.
Hercules is like your joint.
I think it's really funny that he
love
mentioned
Hercules.
me and your favorite Disney.
Yeah, we're
movies.
some people. Some people meaning to me.
I didn't
that
want to
was-
do that, but I was thinking live action remakes.
Yeah,
right?
I feel you.
and those are the ones I think of. But it's just like, first of all, they cannot have James Woods in this one because he sucks as a person. He's just bad.
Well, they're also not. I think they're going the Mulan route, where I think the Russo brothers have already said it's not going to be a musical.
I hate that.
Whoa,
I hate that.
Whoa,
Hate it.
whoa.
Throw it in the trash.
The best thing about
Throw
Hercules
it
is
in
the
the
muses
trash.
and their gospel music.
It is.
So you're gonna tell me that's not gonna be in the movie?
That's a waste of my time. Throw it away.
Fam.
Throw it away.
The muses?
You can't.
The muses?
The music, they literally frame the entire story. You can't not have them in it.
the underworld.
They're so
And the
good.
thing about muses is that, from a Greek standpoint, they can still be in it, but if they're not singing those
Oh
dope
wait,
songs,
things have changed though.
Uh-oh.
Apparently, sources are saying that the live action will have music.
it better have music.
I don't know.
It'll have music. Is it gonna have singing? That's
Is it gonna have
Good
singing?
point.
You know what? But Colin, even then, we won't know if it's got singing until we see the cast list.
no.
So,
You're right. I just
True.
the fact that
Singing is a very, very specific
to
thing.
me the muses are kind of what make that movie what it is because it from the very beginning that movie is not what you expect it to be. If you're expecting like a Greek myth thing and then all of a sudden you got like gospel choir,
Bless
it's like
my soul.
I wasn't
was
expecting
on a
this and I
roll.
love
Yeah,
it,
it's very
right?
different.
And I just feel like
It'll be interesting
I don't
if
know.
they
I don't know.
manage to mix like really big, epic, mythic type of vibes with gospel music.
which they did. The original movie did. So it's
well,
like
no, but in live action though, like that is a different look.
speaking of casting though, are they gonna find somebody whose waist is that small to play Meg?
No.
They
Speaking of
They'll cast a twig.
No. Speaking of casting, you guys should check out our Hercules live action fan cast. It was the first ever
my
fan cast that we
word.
did on this podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, I need to
Listen to it.
revisit that when they start casting this thing.
Oh, it's I was going through some of our choices yesterday, and some of them I'm like, these might be a little too old now.
I just,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I just don't know how to feel about this.
I
don't
still
like it.
stand behind Hannah John Common as Meg though, because why not?
Sure. I just this whole concept just fills me with a level of dread that
I'm
don't
super
like.
excited. So unlike Colin, I really like a number. I want to say half. I want to say I like half of the Disney live action movies that they've put out so far.
Okay.
I love Cinderella. I could talk for hours about Cinderella. I love the live action Aladdin. I think the live action Jungle Book is actually better than the animated Jungle Book.
I agree.
I liked the Lady and the Tramp live action. Like there are a number of them that I've actually very much enjoyed. So I'm excited about a live action Hercules. I've been excited at the idea for a while because I love Greek mythology, and I love the Disney movie of Hercules. I don't care if it's inaccurate to Greek mythology.
It sure is.
It show is. And also just, I thought the Russo brothers were going to direct it, which, fine. But Guy Ritchie directing it excites me
Yo.
far more.
I really like Guy Ritchie. I was watching The Gentleman last week, and I was like, man, I love this movie.
This is one of those things that I kind of hope they do the Mulan route and do like, can they do like the labors of Hercules instead of the plot
Yeah.
of the movie that we already have? Because I think that would really make me sad. But if they do this different thing, I'm like, okay, I can make my peace with that.
It's so interesting because with the Disney live action movies, and I say this, a lot of people will say that there's no creativity in remaking these films. I disagree because I feel like you have to find a creative way to do it. Live action Cinderella is, I love that movie because it finds a way to expand upon the story instead of just retelling it.
Right.
The live action Aladdin, kind of just a recreation of the original Aladdin movie, but still finds ways to expand on character arcs, particularly for Jasmine. Jungle Book, same thing, expands upon the story. Like the ones that I think really, really work are the ones that respect the original movie, but also still go, well, we can build here. We can flesh out here.
Right.
And I thought that Mulan there was something to be said about the creativity in trying to do something very different from what we saw in the animated movie, and it just didn't pan out the way that I would have liked it to.
Same.
But I would be interested. I think it's fun to see which Disney movies they decide, let's just try and keep it as close to the original as possible, and which ones they're like, well, let's see if we can move away from this because there's a different way to do this. And so with Hercules, it's a toss-up.
Was Hercules one of the ones that like didn't perform well?
Yes.
That makes me think that they will probably try to reinvent it.
Do something different.
Yeah, like I think those who love it really love it, but if it didn't do well, they might take that as a sign of like, well, let's do something different.
Because Hercules isn't up there with Mulan or like Beauty and the Beast or
which I
Little
think
Mermaid.
it should be, but
it wasn't one of the ones that was like super successful. It might have been like a moderate success. I don't think it did particularly well in theaters.
By comparison, Lion King made all the money, and then when they did that, they were just like, do it again, but with black people.
Yeah.
More black people.
Yeah. So I'm interested to see how they decide to change it, what they decide to keep. I'm excited to see what Guy Ritchie brings to the table because his style is Guy Ritchie's got his own style. But also the way that he applies it to big epic tales like this, like with King Arthur, which mind you isn't the greatest movie in the world. I really enjoy it.
I like that. It was fun.
But like it's interesting to see how his heist aesthetic works within like a epic fantasy type of realm.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see what he does with Hercules. It'll be fun.
Same. Just give me the muses, man. Give me my muses. I'm looking forward to it. I like all the remakes of movies that I liked originally. I like because, it's still that movie. Mulan might be an exception because they went so different with it. But I like Hercules. I'm sure I'll like Guy Ritchie's Hercules.
Guy Ritchie, if you cast Charlie Hunnam as Zeus, fam.
That'll be interesting.
Please.
He does like Charlie Hunnam.
That's like his new boy ever since King Arthur.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. For those who are more on the Colin side of things, just don't watch it.
That's true.
Like if you don't like it,
that's
don't watch it.
not an option given what we do.
Yes, it is. Because
actually, yeah, it is. It's
not that kind of thing though.
You didn't watch Spiderhead?
Yeah, but I watched the Star Wars movies. Like there's certain things that I recognize
you don't have
that
to.
I have
Me
to
and
watch.
Gabby are here.
Colin, we've already discussed that you put these responsibilities on yourself because you feel the need to be caught up in certain things.
Yeah.
Still won't watch Stranger Things, even though that's really good. But fine. It's just if we all watch Hercules and you don't, we're going to come do the episode. No one's going to yell at you. We're going to be like, Colin didn't want to see this, so he didn't watch it. Moving on. You don't have to watch it.
I kind of do, though.
Just don't watch it. It's fine. Like the Game of Thrones shows, I'm not going to watch them. Yeah, because I look at them like, nah, and I don't watch it.
Yeah, but you also don't have an attachment to it to begin with. You haven't watched the original show.
Right. But if they were making a version of a show I really liked and I thought, ooh, I don't think I like where this is going, I just wouldn't watch it.
Really? Because I feel like you would at least give it a try.
Yeah, but I think that's difficult because the only examples I can think of are TV shows.
The Last Airbender. Yeah.
No. I was talking about
Well, no, but that's a good example though. I don't think you've ever seen the Last Airbender movie.
That's
a
good point. I've seen it multiple times.
Oh, yeah.
But I was trying to think of
but also the
a
TV
movie
show's
to
coming
movie
out.
remake situation.
Oh.
Yeah. But we'll think about that off mic.
We will. But yeah, I'm excited for the live action Hercules. But first, we need to get that live action Little Mermaid, which is coming out next year. Oh, and I'm also super excited for the live action Snow White, which is also coming out in the next couple of years. So I'm excited. Let's do this.
Disney is going through that list.
They are.
All right, that's our news. Moving on to different opinions. In case you forgot, that's where we take comments that we've gotten and read them and respond to them. We have one comment because that's who we are. It's on Facebook. On our last episode 185, Jurassic World Dominion and Young Justice, the comment is from Andrew.
Nice.
Shout out to Andrew.
Hey.
He said Young Justice Season 4 was awesome, and they made the Green Lantern series canon with Razor showing up on New Genesis. I hope they continue that GL show. Now, almost had a heart attack with Nightwing at the end there, man.
I did too.
Bravo. Andrew, I feel you. I didn't know that Razor was a Green Lantern thing. I didn't know that he was from that show.
Oh.
There was an animated Green Lantern show.
I didn't know that.
Apparently it's very good. People keep talking about it. I've never seen it. But apparently that was a tie-in.
Oh, cool.
So shout out to you guys who watched that. Y'all must have been excited.
I didn't know that existed. So
a lot of, right? But if there's anyone who's more into DC animation than me, it's Andrew.
Yeah.
So shout out to
Just
Andrew.
more interested in DC in general.
He is the DC guy. And I respect that because the loyalty you need to be the DC guy.
So much loyalty because whew, sometimes I'd be like, nah, fam, that ain't it.
Ha!
It upsets me that we don't have a very recent piece of DC news on here. But
I mean, Journey Smollett talked about Black Canary recently. Because she was doing press for Spiderhead, so.
Were you talking about a specific piece of DC? Like one specific crime spree? Yeah.
Yeah.
I figured,
They're not coming back. Oh.
Yeah. The law will handle them. Anyway, that's our podcast.
I don't know if the law will handle them. They apparently manage to escape every time. The Harry Houdini of Hawaii. I don't get it.
Harry Houdini.
Harry Houdini of
The
Hawaii.
alliteration there is beautiful.
I
All right,
love it.
guys. We're going to keep you updated on that front. Thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you for listening to all of that. Thank you, Crown Digital, Brandon, and Io for putting us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Demi, thank you for editing and putting us on YouTube and watching Spiderhead, so I didn't have to talk about it alone.
I try my best.
Because Colin didn't watch it. Because Colin doesn't watch things.
I don't think Colin would like that movie.
No. I can never tell with Colin.
That's
Speaking
true.
of Colin, thanks for going to see Lightyear with us. Because I
Yay.
thought this was going to be another episode where you're just kind of quiet.
Oh, if it had not been like a let's go see this, I would not have seen it.
Right, it makes sense.
But I will take an excuse to go out with my friends. So
Yeah.
I feel like we should just all start going to see movies together.
that's what
again.
yes, and I 100%
The
agree
Black
with
Phone,
that.
Friday.
Nope, not that one, no.
I'm not in town, so look
You
at
have an
that.
excuse. You will be gone. Colin, we're going to see the Black Phone.
I am not doing that.
Anyway, audience, what'd you think of Lightyear, Spiderhead? Did you want to hear Buzz Lightyear say nigga in Tim Allen's voice? I bet you didn't. Let us know in the comments or hit us on Twitter at y'all_different, Instagram and Tumblr at Creative Differences Podcast, or Facebook.com/Creative Differences PC. If you want to talk about Lightyear and why it's a top 5 Pixar movie, yes, I said top 5, find me on Twitter and or Instagram at A King Named Simba.
You can find me on Twitter at Duck McGuck.
And if you guys want to talk to me about all things Toy Story, also, when and if the Lightyear sequel comes out, we need Miranova. I just want that to be known. I want that out there.
Is that the redhead?
Yes, you guys can come talk to me about that on Twitter and Instagram at Dreamy Films. Dreamy is spelled DREEMI. Thanks again for joining us.
Yes, and if you want to find Gabby, you can find her on Twitter at Guzzle That White Hennessy.
I don't know how she's going to feel about that one because it's on brand.
It is on brand.
She
In a
is
couple
not
words.
allowed to be mad about that.
Of course not.
She did that to herself.
Yep.
Unfortunately,
All right.
she can't do that right now, though.
Jesus. All right, it's been different. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so we all know that, Prey is a movie that's coming out, right?
Yes.
So the Predator is back in. There was the Predator, there's Prey. So I think the next one, it's just Jason Momoa in Hawaii hunting Ezra Miller.
I love it.